Good morning. I'm Jack Van Ryn, Mayor of the Town of Coaldale. I will be giving you an update from our regular council meeting that was held March 14th, 2022. And our first item of business that came up was item 4.1 regarding a community flagpole. And currently there are 5 town facilities that have flags displayed. The town office, the welcome sign, and the cenotaph all have 3 flagpoles that include the Canadian flag in the middle, the provincial flag to the left, and the town of Coaldale flag to the right. And then the fire hall and the museum have 1 flagpole and display the Canadian flag only. So as part of the discussion, council decided to add a community flagpole, and that pole will be available to nonprofit organizations and also for the town of Coaldale to recognize any significant and notable event that's taking place in not only Alberta but in all of Canada. And something else that we could be using the community flagpole for right now is in support of Ukraine, for the conflict that's currently going on there right now. So perfect example why a community pole is needed. So council approved the installation of one, and that will be going at the new Civic Square location where the town office will be moving to. And we directed administration to come back with some options as to where the 4 flagpoles can be located at the new town office location. Then we had a Glenn Miller from the Military Museum do a presentation, and Glenn spoke not only on the Lethbridge Military Museum that's located at the Lethbridge Airport, and I strongly suggest for anybody that's never been out there to stop by and take a tour through it. It's extremely well done, and it's worth the drive out there with the family. Currently it's open Wednesday afternoons, and I'll put the link for the museum in the comment section so that you can check it out on their website. So as part of that presentation, we spoke about some updates that we want to do at our cenotaph, and one of the main ones is to add a plaque for the Canadian Armed Forces contribution to the conflict that occurred in Afghanistan from 2001 to 2014. And during that conflict, a total of 165 Canadians died, 158 soldiers and 7 civilians, and more than 2,000 members of the armed forces were injured during the war. So we're going to be putting a plaque to honor that conflict. We also discussed updating the cenotaph with some permanent flag pole bases. So currently when we do our Remembrance Day service, when the honor guard comes up to the cenotaph and they place the flags, we have trouble with the wind. Of course, we live in southern Alberta, so we're going to put something permanent in so that we don't have to always be dealing with flags that are blowing over. And we're also going to look at doing some more landscaping, and we're going to be doing some what's referred to as battle honors to honor some of the veterans that gave the ultimate sacrifice. And we're also going to look at moving forward, now that COVID is over, we can do the Remembrance Day service in person, but we're also going to continue doing the live streaming for the people that aren't able to make the event. So Glenn has been working with our Cindy Hoffman, and Cindy and a committee are coming up with some recommendations, and we'll be coming back to council in a future meeting, and then we hope to have all these improvements done in time for Remembrance Day coming up this fall. Then we had our planner, Melanie Messier, do a presentation on doing a land use amendment regarding highway commercial zoning. And the proposed amendment was a result of a resident inquiry seeking leasable rental space for a future barber shop and tattoo shop business. And this, if it moves forward, will be located east of the Fast Gas. And for those that don't know, Coaldale is getting a Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise in Coaldale. So as part of that project, there'll be some leasable space available. So we were approached to see if we can make some changes to allow. So the personal services is described as an individual that are related to the care and appearance of the body or the cleaning and repair of personal effects. Typical uses include but are not limited to barbershops, beauty salons, hairdressers, manicurists, fitness facility, tailors, dressmakers, shoe repair shops, dry cleaning establishments, and laundries, but does not include health services. So council passed second and third reading to make those changes to allow wider scope of opportunity for business owners to open up shop in the highway commercial areas. And the highway commercial areas currently are located off of Lando Lakes Drive. The site currently consists of the fast food establishments, a gas station, dental office, psychotherapy office, liquor store, home hardware. And given the variety of uses in the area, the rationale can be made for personal services as appropriate for this highway commercial and future highway commercial areas. So those changes were made last night. Then we had Mark Anderson, Manager of Community Policing, give us an update on a traffic safety bylaw that is referred to as Bylaw 843-R-03-22. And this bylaw has not been updated since 2006. So there are some amendments that need to be made. Some of them are just housekeeping. So for those that still remember when we had Lethbridge Regional Police Service, Police in Coaldale, they're still mentioned in the bylaw as the go-to policing organization. So those kind of housekeeping rules. And then we also discussed some changes that are going to be looked at, and council passed a motion last night that for first reading to the traffic safety bylaw and direct administration to coordinate public engagement on the proposed changes, and also that council provides instruction to administration to seek legal opinion on the town's exposure to liability in the sections of the bylaw, and the opinion to be included in the community engagement information release. So there's a few items in the bylaw that we need to have a legal opinion done on regarding the Provincial Traffic Safety Act. And one of them is regarding the parking of unattached RV trailers on town streets from May long weekend until Thanksgiving. And currently that is allowed, but we are superseding the Provincial Traffic Safety Act, and it was brought to our attention, so that's why we're going to have a legal opinion on that to see if that's something we can continue doing. And then another one was the truck route, and that involves semis driving into residential areas. So if owner-operator wants to bring his truck to his house in Coaldale and he wants to change the oil and do maintenance on the vehicle in front of his house, that's something that the bylaw will address, because we have quite a few complaints regarding truckers coming in and doing mechanical work on their vehicles in front of their residences. And I'll have the link to this again as part of the agenda package in the comments section, and then you will be able to review all the discussion items that were brought up last night by Mark Anderson. Then we had a discussion regarding taxation of vacant residential land, policy C-021. So that is to do with empty residential lots throughout Coaldale, whether they be part of a development that the developer has that haven't been sold yet, or that's for people that purchased purchase a lot and they have not decided to build, and it's, let's say they bought it that they plan on building a house in 5 years, 3 years, or what have you. So the administration came back to see if we should be taxing those empty lots, and if this bylaw would have went through, it would have essentially doubled the tax that they're currently paying based on the residential tax rate. So after a very good presentation by administration, council decided by a vote of 6-1 that to temporarily waive policy C-021 and revisit for 2023. So everything is going to remain as is for 2022. Then we had a presentation by Tracy Lawrenson with Paragon Strategic Services via Zoom last night. And for those that don't know Tracy, Tracy has worked with our council twice as a governance facilitator since the new council's election in October of last year. The first time after the election, Tracy worked with council focusing on council's roles, the legislative framework, and how best to serve our community during this term as a member of town council. And she did a very good education piece for all members of council. It's very important that we get off on the right foot when we, it's something you just don't go sit in a chair around the council table and pretend you know what you're doing. So it's important that we get these education pieces. And then more recently in late January, Tracy facilitated a 2-day strategic planning session, and Tracy introduced the strat planning from that 2-day session at her council meeting. And as part of that, I wanted to thank the 491 residents that took the time to fill out the community vision survey in early January. And your input helped craft the draft strat plan for our 2021 to 2025 council term. And Tracy explained it very well last night, and some of the areas that we discussed were revolved around public safety, recreation, service excellence, community growth and economic prosperity, relationships, and community experience. And after Tracy did her presentation and answered questions, council passed a motion that to approve the draft council strat plan as circulated and direct administration to bring back a corresponding action and implementation plan. So that'll be coming back to council before it's released out to you, the residents of Coaldale, and you can see the action plans that council will be following during our term. And that is revisited once a year as well, so that we can tweak it as necessary. And she did an excellent job working with council on that once again. Then we had a departmental report from Justin McPherson. He's a director of operational services for the town of Coaldale, and he kind of just gave us an update with what's going on in their department. And one of the things that if you live in Cottonwood that you probably noticed behind the Cottonwood playground, there's what we refer to as kinship ponds. There are 2 water features, and they work as water retention ponds as well for any overland flooding that we may have. And they also have 2 water features, one in each one, a water fountain. So since they were built, they've slowly started to fill up with silt, blowing dirt, whatever you want to call it, and it was time to drain them and clean them out. And this also contributed to odor during hot summer months when you got the smell of rotten vegetation. So we drained them. We had a contractor come in and dig them back down to the depth that they're supposed to be. And the edges they cleaned up, and then all the plant life will come back again. And not only is it a usable water feature, but it'll also be something aesthetically pleasing for the residents. And the water fountains needed that done as well too, because the silt was getting to be of such a depth that it was affecting the operation of the fountains. So that will make that work much better this summer. And then Justin also just briefly spoke on a couple of purchases. As per our budget, they purchased a single axle dump truck that will be coming this fall, and they also purchased another fleet truck for staff to drive. And then they also awarded the Utilities Emergency Scheduled Work program. So they put that up for tender, and that was awarded to Dennis Dirt Works. Then under council and committee reports, we had a verbal update on the Municipal Planning Commission by Deputy Mayor Jason Avery, and that's something that I brought back to council meetings, is that once a month we have a member of council give an update on one of the committees they sit on. And the reason I wanted that was twofold. One was for them to explain to the other members of council, this is what I do on this committee, and explain what their role is. And also for the residents at home, so that they can hear what each individual member of council does as part of being on these community boards and committees. So it's important that we keep doing that. And then we had a letter from Municipal Affairs regarding the budget for 2022. And there was some good news there for not only the town of Coldale, but all the municipalities where we're going to be getting a little bit more money than anticipated through our MSI granting. So that was good news as well. So that's the end of our discussion points for our meeting. So I'll have the link for the live stream. I'll have the agenda package. And like I said earlier, I'll have the Lethbridge Military Museum link, so you can pay that a visit. And as always, I'll have my phone number, my email address. Please reach out to me if you have any concerns, questions. I'm always available. Phone me. I always answer my phone. And if you see me on the street, stop me, we'll have a discussion. And then if I could get you to do me a big favor, make sure that you subscribe to this channel so you can keep up with the updates. I would appreciate it if you like them. Even more, I would appreciate if you would share them so that you can get the information out on our social media platforms so our residents stay informed. So other than that, have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye.